against entertainment.
It's not entertainment. It's him. Well, at least we don't have any problem.
He's got to fix the radio.
I still miss Dale. Where's my word back?
Yeah,
That's a weird thing.
I think we still need to do a wellness check on old Dale DeMay.
Stephanie just asked me about him too.
I mean, it's been a couple months, 2 or 3 at least.
Since before Thanksgiving, probably.
Yeah. Hope he's okay.
Maybe he just discovered we're on
And,
YouTube.
somebody said that he wouldn't be here during the winter,
I
though.
can't say anything, but maybe he's been
Oh, does he go to Florida, I mean?
Boy, what if he's like a secret billionaire? Got a golf house down there.
We'll call the meeting to order. It's Montcalm County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for January 26, 2026. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Vice Chairman Peterson.
Yeah, we have Blake Jones here from Rock Lake Bible Methodist. Lead us in prayer, please.
Heavenly Father, thank you for these moments that we acknowledge you as sovereign and ourselves as stewards. Thank you for this Board of Commissioners and their work. We pray your blessing to rest upon them on the deliberations of this day. Bless their families, their interests, their concerns. And here today, Father, Christ has asked us to pray that your will would be done in earth as it is in heaven. So we ask that today your will would be accomplished in this session together. And then, Father, in a world that is just feels kind of upside down and turmoil, and a nation that is facing a lot of different things, we ask that you would grant to our community, to our county, your peace and your blessings. Thank you for this privilege of prayer, and thank you for this time together. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call.
Alexander,
Here.
Johnston,
Here.
Peterson,
Yes, ma'am.
Johnson,
Present.
Mahar, Carr,
Yes.
and Murray.
Here. We have a quorum on tonight's agenda. I have one change to make. On the 405 that was previously for the maintenance director, I'd like to move Gordon Gorby into that spot for an address ordinance appeal and add a 420 for the maintenance director's discussion. That's the only change I have.
Or
I'll make the motion first. This is good.
well, he made, I thought he was making a
He
motion.
he was just correcting
So
her.
moved.
Any
Support.
Where were you?
Moved and supported.
Where were you?
You're waiting for me?
No, we're good.
Moved and supported to adopt the agenda as amended. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. On tonight's meeting minutes, should have a copy. Everyone have a copy of January 12th meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Johnston.
I would move to approve our January 12th, 2026 regular board meeting minutes as presented.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve the meeting minutes, the last regular meeting, January 12th, 2026 as presented. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments. Hearing no public comments, we'll start with our 405 agenda item. We have the Gorbys with us and also the equalization director to discuss this address ordinance appeal. You want to come up here?
So yeah, can I just, I wrote up something just to fill everybody in on. Can I just read it?
Yeah.
It says, hello, my name is Gordon Gorby. I reside with my wife and daughter at 7098 West Stanton Road, about halfway between Lake Road and M91. The county recently issued an address to the east of our property. Only after issuing this new address did this put our address non-sequential. The county determined that our address has to change as to keep them in order. The ordinance does state that it should discourage the practice of changing existing addresses. In this scenario, there are 76 numbers, of which 38 even ones could be issued for the roughly 500 foot of road frontage to the east to keep our address sequential. The equalization department told me the address software was put into place in 94. We purchased this property with existing address in 99. This property had been occupied by an older couple for many years before we purchased it. In 2000, we applied for all the county permits necessary to build a new home without any issues. Assuming our address was around 2005, we applied for more permits to build a pole barn and again, did not have any issues. I'm assuming our address was verified at these times due to the county ordinance. The reason I'm here today asking for a variance in the county's address system and ask that we be grandfathered in to keep the address we've had for about 27 years. We do not feel we should have to absorb the time, cost, and headache of changing everything we have that is attached to our address. I'm aware that people have to go through the process of changing all of their records when they choose to sell out and move to another location. We have not chosen to move, and we do not feel we should be forced to go through all the issues that will follow this procedure. I do think this will cause more problems going forward by changing our existing address than to leave it as is. Thank you for your time with this issue. And I do want to say that you were given a copy of this address to the east of us. It says 7122. That's not correct.
Okay.
It's 7022.
That makes more sense with what your address is currently then. 7022, that's how you get the sequential up to your.
And then
place.
ours is currently 7098. So
Right.
that's where I'm saying there's,
76 numbers between 22 and
38
98.
even ones.
Sure.
Which, yeah, it's a typographical error. It should be 7022 instead.
And then is the
7111.
7114 the proposed address of the new home?
Yes, it
Is that
is.
somebody related to you?
Yes.
Okay, Deb.
We, in issuing this new address correctly, it made the 7098 number out of sequence.
Right.
So in order to stay with what we've always practiced, and that's issuing addresses correctly, whether they're new or not.
Yep.
We chose to change the 7098. It was 100 points off, as you can tell, from 7198 to 7098. And it runs now within sequence with the 7198 instead of the 7098. I mean, it's
Sure.
a practice we've done for years. We have a formula that we use. The 7114 is the number that it came up with
Mhm.
for the new address. If we don't issue it a new address, years down the road, we're going to have the same problem and we're going to end up changing 2 or 3 addresses down the road if we issue that wrong.
But in a case like this, where there's only so much property there and the zoning requires X amount to build, there's not going to be 36 houses built between
No, I agree. There's not going to be 36 houses built between there,
in-laws.
but it doesn't negate the fact that we
I understand.
issue addresses according to the footages.
I understand.
There is room there for more addresses because there is quite a bit of property back behind there. And you could easily put a private drive in there. You could easily put 2 or 3 driveways in there.
But we're
And it could
arguing
happen.
hypotheticals, though. This is all hypothetical.
That's true.
And isn't this something to where if we just put something in writing to where if the Gorbys ever sell their house, then the address changes, They don't have to frog around with changing their address. They don't seem like they're going anywhere. Why would we have to put a taxpayer out in any sort of inconvenience just because it doesn't fit in our numerical order?
Because of our ordinance.
Because of our ordinance. Our ordinance says that we issue addresses
She's
correctly.
following the ordinance, the letter of the law. When Mr. Gorby contacted me about this and asked what his remedy was, that they told him, as you can see in this letter, that there's no choice, no chance for an appeal. I said he ought to come here because I know exactly what he's talking about firsthand. What needs to happen, in my estimation, is we need to have some common sense in that ordinance. And if we're going to take the time to tweak and study those parks ordinances, then this one certainly needs some attention. And I don't know if everyone understands the numbering system. There's 500 points in a half a mile. And this doesn't make any difference to a first response. If he stays with his same address and you issue a new number instead of the 7114, and Eric can speak to it, my opinion is it wouldn't make any difference to a first responder. His address is going to be off by a 16th of a mile, but it's still going to be sequential. So the only thing that's not going to happen is you're not going to pull up a Google Earth pin and put it right at his house. But all those numbers are going to be in order. And anybody coming up through there as a first responder is going to follow those numbers until they get to the one they need. It's not going to change anything there. Secondly, it's an address he's using by no fault of his own. He didn't just make that up 27 years ago. It's a number that got issued to him as his address. So now after 27 years of business cards and mailings and whatever else he might have, we're going to inconvenience him because it isn't going to pick that exact spot that GPS says ought to be his address. And frankly, that doesn't matter. I get delivery people and people coming to my house all the time that said, I've been on a goose chase for a half an hour. Google had me way around the corner over there. So that isn't any science anyway. So I just don't see, from our perspective, Deb's doing exactly what she's supposed to do with the address ordinance and her job. But the fact that we don't even have an appeal for something like this is wrong. And then secondly, we ought to have some, like Commissioner Vice Chairman Peterson said, maybe there's a practice where the Gorbys keep their address and there's something attached to the sale of it 20 years down the road or something else. And if it's feasible to change it then, but I don't think you just wholesalely go out there and ask people to change their address because it doesn't fit exactly where GPS says it should. If there wasn't enough numbers in between to keep them all sequential, maybe you could make the argument that it was a safety concern to them or their neighbors for a first responder, but not in this case.
So what action do we need here? Are we just hearing this and we're going to change our ordinance? I mean, we throw things in faces of ordinances almost every meeting.
That's what I mean. I think we've got the authority to grant the Gorbys the appeal they're asking for and
We
then
give
go
them a variance.
whatever we want to call it, but allow them to keep their address and assign the new home in between theirs and their parents to a sequential number that works. And then go back to the drawing board and figure out what our address ordinance should have for changes.
I have a question for Deb. How often does this happen? Having to,
More often than what we like.
okay. So it's not just a one-time occurrence or something that,
Unfortunately,
okay.
it does. It happens more often than we like.
okay.
And typically we change them and it's not an issue.
Okay.
We like to stay within our parameters of our addressing ordinance. And when we issue addresses, we want to issue them correctly.
Yep.
And we want to keep them correctly because, like I said, I still say 10 years down the road, we don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
And 3 addresses could change 10 years down the road.
And if I'm not mistaken, you basically take a distance in feet from that intersection, 7,000.
That's correct.
Put it through a formula to see how many 1,000ths down the road that driveway is, and that's the address they're given.
Yep.
Can I say something else too? So this is a rare case too, where the property, there is 115 acres where this driveway is going in. Okay, that is a lot. They could add, it could be private roads. But there is a side road too, Bacchus Road, that dead ends, that is actually used to get to that property already anyways. So I feel like if more than 37 houses went in back there, I mean, I could see that road being used for the addresses anyways.
If
I
you,
don't see running out of.
if you got more than 2 houses back there and you change from a private drive to a private road, those addresses wouldn't be addressed out to Stanton Road anyway. They'd
No,
be
they would
addressed
change to
the
a private drive,
road.
but you could still get another address
But you've got 36 to choose from.
in there.
Yeah.
Well, if you fit them in, which, like I say, because of the address ordinance, we don't make a habit of doing that.
I get it. I know. I don't find the fault with you. I find the fault with our ordinance. I think it's our job to hear our constituents. And in this case, my opinion of this is unreasonable to ask them to do that for the reasons that are in front of us. That just needs some kind of a case by case common sense approach to some of those. It just can't be as cut and dried as, hey, by the way, somebody's going to build a house next to you and the address that we assigned you 27 years ago is no longer your address. So completely change everything.
Yeah, probably the power company issued it years ago.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah.
And they didn't care.
So is it something we can attach like to the deed that says when this changes hands, the address changes to 17198?
What the logistics of that is, I personally am not really interested in worrying about it 20 years down. I just don't think.
Well, it's not going to be our problem, hopefully.
This just is never going to be an issue. There isn't enough space in there to have that many addresses, keep them sequential. If you build a private road off from that into the 115 acres, those numbers are going to be in the 7,000 block from Stanton Road running to the north. 6,000 starting at Dickerson Lake, 7,000 starting
7,000.
at Stanton Road. So those addresses going to the north are going to be 7,000 on up on whatever that private road is. So they're going to have all the flexibility they need to address houses there.
Stanton Road would be 7,000 to the west. North would be 1,000, I believe. Yeah, Stanton Road. Well, yeah, it would be 1,000, 0 to 1,000.
Oh,
is
0
Dickerson
starting,
Lake,
yeah,
so it would be 1,000.
0 at Dickerson Lake.
Yep.
1,000 at Stanton Road. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So do we need a motion to grant a variance for the Gorbys to keep their address? Or what's our process here?
So if you're gonna let Gorby's keep their address, then we're gonna have to change the 7114 because they're out of sequence. So one of the other of them is gonna have to,
But this isn't even built yet, right?
no, but it's in the process. This address was issued early December.
So they got 2 months of people they have to contact. Gorby's have 27
It was
years of
issued
people.
December 2nd. And the only reason we waited until after the first of the year is because of the holidays. We don't ever, November and December, we never change addresses because of the holidays, deliveries, Christmas cards, all that.
Because
stuff.
it would be a hassle if their address
Exactly.
changed.
So less than that, it would be worse at the holiday time. You got to admit that. So
Have fun any time of the year.
we don't
27
change
years.
addresses in November and December. We wait until after the first of the year as a consideration.
So do we need a motion to change 7114 to a lower number, lower than 7098?
Grant the Gorbys appeal to keep their own address and let the equalization department sort out what needs to happen for a new number on 7114.
So moved.
Support. It's been moved and supported to grant the Gorbys request to keep their current address and ask the equalization department to come up with a new address for 7114 Stanton Road that's sequential between the Gorbys property and the property to the east. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay.
Thank you.
Up next is our 420 agenda item. Brenda's pinch hitting for Doug on the building and grounds director for the administrative building flooring bids.
Alrighty. Well, basically, the lowest bid you can see on Doug's agenda request was company out of Jackson that we knew nothing of, Trist Creek. And then second on the list was Millard's Furniture across the street for less than $900 difference. So Doug is in favor of using Millard's and keeping the business local. Basically, in a nutshell.
Brenda, can you refresh me? Where is this flooring going in? Like in here in your guys' office,
Whole
or
building.
we're not covering up the tile, right? Like out in the
No,
hallways
the
and
tile will
stuff?
be covered. Don't, some of the offices that have like high traffic little lobby areas are gonna put down vinyl plank. And those, like in the building department, people with muddy shoes come in a lot, so they're gonna put vinyl plank in that. But then the rest of it will be recarpeted. And we're not doing MSU extension because that would have put, you approved 40,000 in the budget process this past summer for the project, but to do MSU extension would have put us over by about $5,000, 4,500. So he opted just not to do MSU extension right now. There's usually one or two people in there section, so it's, I think the only room that we're not doing was their little meeting room right here, Michelle, wasn't it? Because we did that like 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
For the carpet squares, right?
Squares, yeah.
Mhm.
So then if there's a run or a snag, they just got to take one little square up and put a new one down instead of replacing the whole room. So they've been.
Are they doing squares in the rest of the building now, or we're doing straight carpet still?
Squares?
Okay.
This, all this.
Mm-hmm.
What color?
I don't remember. All I had was numbers to go by. I didn't have, I would assume it's close to the blue we have now.
Blue gray, probably.
Yeah, fruit colored.
It's a fruit salad.
I was hoping it was a red carpet running right out the doors. So I'm walking on red carpet every time.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'd like to propose a motion to hire Millard Furniture to replace the flooring in administrative county offices for amount of $32,163.51.
Support. Been moved and supported to accept the bid from Millard Furniture, $32,163.51 for new flooring in the administrative building, except MSUE. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That ends our timed agenda items. Up next is correspondence. Vice Chairman Peterson, please.
Okay, starting on page 34 of your packet, we have I guess 33 is our cover letter. We're looking at the updated park rules and reservation forms for Crown Park, McCarthy Park, and Camp Ford Lincoln. Brenda just wants to hear any discussion that anyone has. This looks like the final red line version before we send it to a public hearing.
No, these are just our rules
Oh,
for reservation purposes.
so we could approve them today if we were
You could,
so
if you want
inclined.
to. So I basically, with McCarthy and Cromp, I just tried to make those pretty much exactly the same because the only thing to rent there are pavilions. Doug thought it would be best if we were consistent, and I agreed with him. So there's more red ink on the McCarthy ones you can see because some of those first three weren't on there for some reason. And then Ford Lincoln, basically the new rates you approved last time. Paragraph updating about the keys. We don't have them come here anymore. We have a box there. That's got a combination code. And the rest of it's kind of grammar, housekeeping, stuff like that. I didn't do a whole lot.
But in these rules, I don't see anything about torpedoes.
None.
It's in the ordinance.
That's just
The
the
ordinance.
ordinance. All right.
It's good stuff.
Brenda?
Yeah.
There is one discrepancy I noted in here that in the rules, it talks about cancellations have to be made in writing 30 days prior. And in that ordinance, it calls for 60 days.
Yeah,
Which would you prefer?
we talked about that in the office. We prefer 60 days for Ford Lincoln because we rent that out a week at a time. So we want as much notice as we can to find someone else to rent that out for that week. For the pavilions, it's in the other parks, we thought 60 days was too much. And we
So-
prefer 30.
So are you saying it'd be better if we just had park rules and we didn't have?
That's actually not what she's saying.
I thought that's what I heard.
So, because Doug and Michelle and I all talked about that, and I don't really know where to land on it. We just feel that 60 days is too much for a pavilion at those other parks.
So it is 30 for the pavilions and then 60 for Camp Ford Lincoln, correct?
Currently, yep.
And
But your ordinance says 60. It's gonna say 60 if you adopt it.
What would the harm be in running it for a year at 60 days for everything and see what happens if it becomes?
Oh, I've heard this somewhere before.
Well, if it's problematic, you'd take a look at it.
Yeah.
We can try it.
Can the ordinance be changed to reflect the difference, differentiate between the two? 30 for the McCarthy, or 30 for Ford Lincoln, or 60 for Ford Lincoln, and 30 for the other ones in the ordinance, or
You
does
could
that
spell
have
it
to be
out.
standardized?
Good, yeah. It could be 60 for Ford Lincoln and 30 for parks with pavilions, other parks. Good.
see, I was kind of under the impression that we would take out some of these park rules because they seem redundant with what's in the ordinance.
Ordinance,
So why
yeah.
would we have them in two places
Right.
when the
That's-
ordinance is the overarching?
Yep, that's why.
So that's why you're bringing it up. That's why
Preference,
I
yeah.
thought we were going to talk about it in our committee before we brought it
Oh.
here, I guess was my
Rules?
interpretation.
Oh, yeah. Nobody
You
let me in
guys-
on that secret.
You want to take this back? We don't have to act on it today, do we?
Yeah,
Do we
No.
want to have another
Well-
committee meeting and talk about
Well, that
it?
was my thought. I at least want to look at all of them and see which ones are included in the ordinance. And
I'd go with that.
That's fine.
Well, then we're moving on then, unless anybody's got any other discussion
Yeah,
for,
We gotta
Motion to
make a
that
motion.
effect?
we got to make a motion to send it to the committee.
Yep.
Then I would make a motion to send the updated park rules and registration forms as presented to our Parks Committee for further review and a vote to be taken later.
It's been moved and supported to send the parks rules to our newly created ad hoc parks, parks ordinance committee, right?
Yeah.
For their review and report back, correct?
Yep.
Okay, discussion. If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next up, the CAC on page 42. Dave B. is retiring from West Michigan Regional Planning Commission, and a gentleman by the name of Jamie Rye is taking his place. So he is the heir apparent to the always coveted spot on the Community Advancement Committee. And if no one has anything, I would move to approve the appointment of Jamie Rye to the Community Advancement Committee with a term to expire 12/31/2028.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Discussion. If there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next up, warrant reports. First up, warrant report 011-52026 in the amount of $200,508.18. Second warrant report 012222026, the amount of $374,146.44. Finally, warrant report 012622026, in the amount of $381,109.81 for a grand total of $955,764.43. Right, Brenda?
Yep.
Okay. And if no one has any questions, comments, or concerns, I will move to approve the warrant reports as presented.
It's been moved and supported to approve the 3 warrant reports totaling $955,764.43. Discussion. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, next up is items 6 through 12 of the consent agenda. Looks like some quarterly reports, contracts that we approved last meeting. If no one has anything on that, I would move to place items 6 through 12 of the consent agenda on file.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to place items 6 through 12 of the consent agenda on file. Discussion. If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then items 13 through 18 are for your information. And then a resolution coming out of Cass County. Looks like they are urging transparency and comprehensive regulatory framework for data centers. That sounds like a riot. And if nobody's got anything, that'll be your board correspondence for Monday, January 26th.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Peterson.
Thank you.
Up next is committee reports, and we don't have anything, followed by new business, item 1, clerk
I don't have
correspondence.
anything.
Item 2, controller correspondence.
Just to let you know, with that address ordinance, last week, prior to knowing about this issue, I actually did reach out to Deb and was starting the process of updating that ordinance along with our private roads ordinance and our hazardous material removal ordinance. Those are the last 3 that we haven't done anything with, so I thought it was time. We've had all the rest, so those will be coming to you in the upcoming months for
See the private road
any kind of
ordinance.
update, huh?
I'd love to see the private road ordinance. I live on one.
So that's all I've got.
Okay, number 3 is chair or board correspondence. The chair doesn't have anything. Anyone else on the board? That ends new business, old business. Item 1 is the parks ordinance.
So this is the revised, the clean copy of the red line one you looked at last time. You asked me to come back with it. So here it is.
Is there anything that the ad hoc committee wants to see different with this, or any other work that you are gonna do? Now, I mean, now you've got the job of trying to merge the two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is pretty clean in its current version, man, and you're,
I think so.
The only thing that I would say is, if we have to do something with the 30 and 60 days in the ordinance, that we'll probably need to do that. Maybe when we meet, we can adjust the verbiage on that, as well as the park rules, and bring everything back to the next meeting for set up a public hearing.
So would we be able to word that in the ordinance where we could have the rules differently?
Just refer to the each
Mm,
park's rules or something along those lines.
It'd be under the cancellation part, correct? Reservations, permits, and fees, cancellations.
'cause, yeah.
Or cancellation, you could even just change the wording in it to be cancellation submitted 30 days or more, 60 if it's Ford Lincoln.
Or cancellations will be determined on park rules.
That's what yeah.
Or C Park rules.
You know,
I mean, you don't think 60 days is,
I said
Adequate?
60 days is way too much for a pavilion.
Some of them are
Some of them
probably
are calling
rented a
2
week
people.
before.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
calling, yeah.
I mean,
so then that doesn't really apply to them though. I mean,
Right. But then if they call back 2 days later and want to cancel,
well,
They don't get a refund?
They'd have to write us a letter.
yeah, they wouldn't get one. I mean, it's in the ordinance. They see when they sign up for it.
I'll just see the torpedoes are in the ordinance, so I'm good.
You're good.
Do we allow snakes and sparklers though? Or no?
Only at Ford Lincoln.
Oh, all right.
Well, this seems like a issue for the committee to solve when they meet on this.
Sounds like we better
We
send
don't
it
have
to
much
the ad
time. We gotta
hoc.
have
See.
a public hearing for this before March 1st, so we have all this done by the end of February.
I would say we need to tentatively schedule our
I agree.
public hearing for the second meeting in February. No,
Yes.
no ifs, ands, or buts. The ad hoc committee can have 20 meetings in between now and then, but
So the public, so the committee needs to meet before we meet again. And when we come to the meeting in February to hold the public hearing and be prepared to vote it up or down at that meeting. Right?
yeah, I would say the second meeting in
Oh, the
February would
second
be,
one in
well, I mean, I'm just saying that's the last.
So all the work has got to be done at the next meeting.
The first meeting, yeah.
The February 9th meeting.
So
Yep.
we're ready to go forward. at the
We
second.
can be ready.
Well, if that works for the committee and you can meet that guideline, we're in good shape then.
Perfect.
No other action on the parks ordinance here then.
Nope. No,
Okay.
if we gotta change something with that one, we're
All right, very good. That takes us to public comments.
I move to adjourn.
Support. Moved and supported to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Meeting adjourned.
35 minutes with 2 agendas.
somebody just walked through the back door, but he went to the bathroom and didn't see who it was.